Well, welcome back from lunch and welcome to the Operational Resilience session. And I'm Craig Resnick with ARC. We're starting early just because we have 4 great speakers today, so we got a lot of material to cover before we start our panel. But thanks so much for coming to our session. I think you all realize that when it comes to operational resilience, I mean, this is really figuring out to make sure that your operations are resilient no matter whether you have issues with fighting off cybersecurity threats or unscheduled downtime, disruptions in supply chain, geopolitical issues, tariffs, trade embargoes, what have you, climate issues. So it's really trying to put together making sure that you've done the necessary planning to make sure that your operation is resilient from any sort of potential disasters. And, if you start digging down into some of the components of operational resilience, certainly sustainability is a key component of it, but certainly far from the only part of operational resilience, because it also gets into, how secure is your supply chain? How protected are you if all of a sudden something, material gets cut off as far as getting alternative sourcing? How vulnerable are you to issues with the workforce as far as having a smaller or less experienced workforce and being able to deploy and make sure that the workers you do have the right tools? Do you have the right cybersecurity protection? And how do you deal with the increasing complexity of your manufacturing processes? And so it's all, and then are you leveraging technologies like AI to help certainly do a better job managing some of those challenges? So at ARC, we have an operational resilience model. So it really looks at, the integrity of your supply chain. We're looking at are you managing and maintaining your infrastructure, whether it be your assets on the factory floor, the controller assets. That's a key part of operational resilience. Do you have the right cybersecurity, from a firewall perspective? Are you able to do remote monitoring, be able to do asset management in the respect that you can predict downtimes before they happen? And are you able to, how well can you respond to those downtimes? And again, have you looked at every possible scenario for interruptions, either in availability of supply chain or your costing structure of your supply chain? And how are you prepared for that? It's interesting because you've probably seen a lot of graphics over the course of yesterday and today, talking about interviewing our about 600 end users of ARC, and and if you look at the investment drivers of their organization, and you find out that things like sustainability, security, resilience, if you look at are in that top handful of reasons that are driving investments in digital transformation. And then if we look at, where in the, from an energy transition and sustainability initiatives, right now the money is going to, efficiency, lowering cost, designing sustainable products, and are you incorporating sustainability into the supply chain and the design and operation? But if we start looking at 3 years as things begin to shift, you're going to start to see more and more investment in net zero mandates and ESG reporting and the energy transition to clean energy. So this is where we expect it to go as you're starting to preparing your plans for the future. And what drives it, of course, there's consumer pressure to the kind of products that they want to buy and the kind of labels that they want to be associated with. I mean, regulation of governments around the world, which is obviously going to vary. And certainly in places like the U.S., the government regulation is very different state to state. There's also, from an investor perspective, whether it be mutual funds or investments that really focus in on companies that are sustainable. So that's really driving the whole energy transition process as far as moving over more and more to renewables and making sure that you are producing sustainable products that leverage things such as a circular economy. And if we also look at some of, where from where is the money being invested today and say over the next 3 years, and you'll certainly see, cloud, industrial analytics, 5G networks, IoT, sustainability tracking. But the thing that we have to think in terms of is, are we now applying AI to help enhance those technologies, because those are going to be key to supporting your operational resilience initiatives. And then again, looking down the road, 3 years from now, we see digital twin, virtual robots, AGVs, AMRs, moving material on the factory floor, along with metaverse and from drones and more next generation security. But you're going to start to see that really beginning to have an impact. So, are you making the investments in those technologies, but thinking in terms from an operational resilience angle to help drive that? And of course, obviously, for the next 5 years, they expect, artificial intelligence, machine learning to probably have the greatest effect. But the question is, are you applying artificial intelligence to the technologies that you're going to have to be deploying to become more resilient? And how can AI enhance your ability to deploy those, become more resilient? As far as are you using AI to better manage your supply chain, for example? So that's all really, it's all key. And, what's the net result of being more operationally resilient is, fewer process upsets, certainly greater, from a cybersecurity perspective, using less energy, higher quality products, less rerun, more efficient, certainly leveraging circular economy and getting closer to your net zero and ESG goals, and, protecting, I guess, from the only certainty in life, which is uncertainty. So with that, we're going to have 4 speakers present their operational resilience story. I'm going to start with Chuck Blackbird, who's going to come on up here and from Sinclair and start with his presentation. Then we'll go through the four presenters and then we'll bring up the panel and take some Q&As to start thinking of some questions you might want to ask. But thank you very much, and Chuck, if you could come on up.